So in this session, we're going to take a look at how to actually get a project started. So I'm logged into my BidMatrix. I'm going up to my projects button here at the top. So it shows me a list of the projects. Up here at the top, you've got a choice between create a project. So this will basically give me a handful of different areas that I can actually go in and put other information in. So, what's the name of my project going to be? Owner for the project. Project size. Bid date. So those are basically all the things that's considered in the details and so forth. And those are also when you go back to view them, you can see them up there at the top. So if we go to the next one, it's going to go from details over to attributes. So these are where in a later release or later session, we're going to talk about how to actually create your own attributes. So I've just got a couple of them started as far as, what's an estimated starting date or market segment and things of that nature. So you can have different types of attributes that might be date fields, or they might be drop down fields. They could be just text and so forth, or numbers and so forth that I could type in. They could be yes, no. So, parking garage, no parking garage, and so forth. So just different things that you can kind of, go back to search and sort on later. You could put an image in here. So basically you could just drag and drop an image and actually put one of the other views that we're going to take a look at. You can actually see, some of these different pictures instead of a kind of a grid and so forth. So that's where you could put a picture associated with the project if you wanted to. And then this is where we actually get into setting up some sort of permissions. So right now, public would be for anybody. Or I could say it's private and actually select what other estimators or different people helping me put the bids together and things like that I want to have access to this system. So I could come in here and actually just select different people. And that way, those would be maybe a couple other people that would be helping me with this project and so forth. At any point in time, you could come back and modify this, so that way you don't have to set them up front. So you can start with everyone and come back later, or start with it being private and no one until maybe I get the structure set up, and then, enable other people as we go farther. So I'm just going to leave that at the moment, and I'm going to hit create. And basically there's a project right there that we just created. So if I go through and take a look at when I click on a project over here on the right-hand side, it'll let you change that information. So if you need to update, maybe I don't like my project name anymore. Maybe I've updated to a different owner, or whatever the case is. You've got the box where you can put a logo, an image on at a later point in time. You get your details, which is all your attributes and so forth. Permission. So this is where I said that later I could come back and add somebody else to, working on the project or something of that nature. This is also where I could come back and remove people from the list if I wanted to. So I could basically control there again, who's looking at it at any point in time. I could come back and add other people to it and so forth. As we look across the rest of this bar here, you can also see right now I'm viewing this as a table. I could also look at it as tile. So that's where the pictures would come into play. So that way, if I don't put a picture in, it automatically puts in these images here. But if I go ahead and I put in, some sort of a picture and so forth, it'll show those images as far as what you put in there. So depending on how you like to look at things, as either a table or a tile. And then sorting, you can go through here and pick it. For me, I find that it's easier just to click on the headings and so forth, where I think the sorting is handy is when you're looking at it by the tiles. You can still come back and tell it to sort something different if you needed to. And then you can also have a method when I was back here picking a project. So I'm going to say that this training one here is no longer needed in the system. So any project that I click on, I can also archive it from here, which this would allow me to come back and view it later. So if I said, yep, go ahead and archive this one. So that way it's not on my list. If I go ahead and tell it to include my archives, you'll notice that it goes ahead and shows back up that I can actually see that one coming up in the list then. And then you can also go ahead and say delete, and that will actually take a project out of the list altogether. So that's how to create a project and get started. So here's the project I was just looking at. So at this point, I'm going to open up my summary here, and this is where I'll say, please join us on the next session.